mechanisms. Then we shall come back to the structure of the substrates. We have come across about the nucleophiles. If it is a good nucleophile, it shall be a good, faster reaction rated, only affecting the SN2. SN1 shall not be affected by the nature of the nucleophile you have come across. Similarly, you have come across about the nature of the leaving group. If it is a stable leaving group, so it shall be always a forward direction. But if it is not a stable, so it shall always be reaction shall be in reversible order. So it shall be in fact in equilibrium. So the nature of the nucleophile, the nature of the living group is very important. In addition to that, you have come across the polarity of solvent and the steric factors. These are the two other factors which are also very important. So I shall conclude these factors at the moment and we switch over to another kind of the mechanisms. So first you have come across SN1 mechanism and SN2 mechanism separately. But if it is over substrate, this is what I am going to introduce here, the substrate nature. Because this is a very diverse, in other mechanism, we shall see this structure, especially all mechanisms that we know we are going to see have a variation in their structure, substrate structure. You have seen if we are having a primary carbon, no doubt it shall 100% undergo SN2 mechanism, mean Walden inversion. No percentage of SN1. If it is a tertiary carbon, it shall not undergo due to steric crowding in three-dimensional space. It shall not undergo via SN2. It shall always undergo 100% SN1 mechanism. But if it is a secondary carbon, then it can undergo a SN1 mechanism dominating over SN2 or SN2 dominating over SN1. We cannot say a secondary carbon shall always undergo 100% SN2 or 100% SN1. This is not possible. A secondary carbon shall be favored by SN1 or SN2, any of them, depending upon the reaction condition you have already come across. So let's see, here I have presented, one is called mixed SN1 and SN2. Let's see, first I have presented here, this is a carbon, it is attached with one this carbon, other is this carbon. So these two carbons are in fact attached with one carbon. So this is a secondary carbon. I have presented this is a secondary carbon. So it has a R absolute configuration. Now what happened, mesitylate, if you remember MS, OMS. We are having a sulfonate group attached with the methyl group, commonly called mesylate. OMS, this is mesylate. So when this mesylate is leaving, when it leaves, this is mesylate. So we have a methyl attached with a sulfonate group, O negative, and we have a positive charge here, resulting the anion and a cation. This cation is a secondary cation. All right. This secondary cation, if we are doing this reaction in dioxane, you see dioxane is just like an ether. It exists in chair conformation. We have at 1 and 4 position of 6-membered ring, we have oxygen which have this chair conformation. If we have 25% water molecule present in it, 25% water and 75% is dioxane. So what happened? Reaction proceed 95% by Walden inversion. Now, what is our nucleophile? This oxygen cannot be a nucleophile. It cannot make 3 bonds. If it make a bond, it shall be reversed because positive charge on oxygen is not tolerable. It is the water which is present in small concentration acting as a nucleophile. So when it is acting as a nucleophile, so R isomer is converted into S. So this is a S absolute configuration I have presented. R is converted into S. When this happen, inversion in configuration happen, it only happen in Walden inversion. It means this reaction is proceeding via SN2 mechanism dominating. But you see 5% this is 95% this is Walden inversion. So it means 5% this is been this reaction is been done 5% following SN1 mechanism. But let's see if we change the solvent. This is what same. You have seen the polarity of the solvent. You have already come across. I have exemplified this here in mixed SN1 SN2 reactions. So polarity of solvent has no effect if it is a primary carbon or it is a tertiary carbon. If it is primary, whatever solvent you are using doesn't make a difference. It shall always proceed 100% via SN2 mechanism, mean Walden inversion. But if the reaction is proceeding via any solvent you are using, any polarity, it is a tertiary carbon, then it shall always follow 100% SN1 mechanism in racemization, no SN2. So this is very clear for primary and tertiary carbon. If it is secondary, then it does make a difference. The previous factor you have come across does come to action when it is a secondary carbon, mean it has a moderate steric hindrance, so it can proceed via Walden inversion. But if these groups are bulkier, then it may undergo generation of a radical, generation of a carbocation, which undergo reaction with a nucleophile next step to form racemic entity, which following a SN1 mechanism. So in this case, the same reaction is done in two different solvents. One is done in 25% water, 75% dioxane. So it results 95% proceed via SN2 mechanism. But if same reaction is carried out in water, pure water, with azide as a nucleophile, you have seen azide is not a strong nucleophile. If I go back, you have seen, you look at the azides. I have presented here, and azides. No, azides are not presented here. So azide is basically coming after water, after water. So before water, they are good nucleophiles. Best one is sulfur nucleophile with charged. Then it is sulfur with uncharged. But here it is above this, in between somewhere here. So it is not a strong nucleophile or a good nucleophile. In fact, so it is a bad nucleophile because it carries negative charge on nitrogens. So high electronegative atom. So it is not a good nucleophile in fact. So it is done in water. So normally we have water approach here. Water approach here as a racemic entity. The product which contain water at this place, OH, it is 69% isolated. And in X, if this is azide group, so this is only 33%. Yeah, sorry, 31%. So you see here, the nucleophilicity is important. Now this reaction is done by what? This OH, if racemic, so this is resulting you indicating it is following SN1 mechanism. On the other hand, if it is azide, it is also showing you. So it means this reaction is proceeding via SN1 mechanism. You see the polarity of solvent. This reaction is done in water, highly polar solvent. So our secondary carbon can proceed dominating via SN2 reaction. It may be dominating via SN1. You see, if you observe, if it is following N3 azide, you see if it is 69%. So out of 69%, almost 34.5% is this isomer. So we can say it is forwarding SN2, it is also following, but that isomer is mixed with racemization isomer. So that's why here it is 69:31. This is a ratio between the two nucleophiles given, not about the yield. This is competing with SN2 as well. So here SN1 is dominating over SN2. Here SN2 is dominating over SN1. So in low polarity solvent, the reaction is always favored by following SN2 mechanism. High polarity of solvent favored SN1 mechanism. This was just purpose to explain with one example that we have already come across. Now, another concept here is lies, which represents why a mixed behavior we are observing. A reaction is proceeding via inversion. This is also proceeding via detention. This is also proceeding via racemization, etc. Especially, this is a concept about the secondary carbon, keeping in mind. Let's say this is called ion pair concept. Ion pair concept. This is also called Sanin's concept. Sanin is the name of the scientist who first presented this concept. According to Sanin, he presented that, let's say, whenever we are having a R group means this is a secondary carbon. Keeping in mind, if it is primary, it shall no doubt follow a SN2 mechanism. If this is tertiary, it shall follow SN1 mechanism, 100%. But if this alkyl group contain a carbon which is secondary carbon, then Sanin concept is applicable. So it means this R is a secondary carbon, keeping in mind. This is a substrate. It is in equilibrium. You see, this is the sign of equilibrium. This is in equilibrium in which this bond between R and X eliminates. But they are very close. Both ions are very close to the same bond distance as they are present. So at this instance, we call this intimate. I have presented here what this one is called. This one is called intimate or tight ion pair. This is called tight ion pair. This is also called intimate ion pair. So both names are given to same. So if it is in this position, once it is been generated, R plus and X negative, they are at the same place like they were disconnected. At that instant, it shall be called intimate ion pair or a tight ion pair. So what happens when the two ions generate, like let's say when you have sodium chloride. So sodium chloride is solid in lattice, this has been generated. So it forms sodium ion and chloride ion which have a same gap like in their crystal structure. So when it has same bonding, it shall be a ion pair, a tight ion pair, or it may be called intimate ion pair. So but when, if you remember, sodium ion and chloride ion are solvated by solvent. So solvent side, when they are solvated, so solvent molecules become in between them. So when the solvent molecule become in between them, this is called solvent separated ion pair. Mean it is the distance between them is increased to some extent because some solvent molecule penetrates between them. So this is called solvent separated ion pair. Next, what happened? These are separated from each other. So these are called dissociated ion. So these are the three terminology which Sanin presented. That whenever we are having a secondary carbon, it follows these mechanisms. It follows the generation of a tight ion pair or intimate ion pair. Then it forms, it is in equilibrium with this ion pair which we call the solvent separated ion pair, and then it further fully converts into ion pair. Because if you remember, normally in mechanism we present Rx bond generating R plus and X negative. Normally we generate, but converting from substrate into three, it is not directly in a single step. This is what Sanin make it clear. So according to him, if it is a secondary carbon, then it follows. If it is tertiary carbon, then this directly converts into this, no doubt. But if it is a primary carbon, it doesn't follow this. It follows a concerted mechanism, if you remember. If it is a secondary carbon, for a secondary carbon, he presented this concept that first it generates an intimate ion pair, then it converts into a solvent separated ion pair, and finally, this is what we call dissociated ion pair. So once these are being generated, let's say if we are having this one, if nucleophile approach the substrate only, let's say their concentration is poor, and in the beginning of the reaction, the nucleophile, because the concentration of these shall be largest, so nucleophile shall approach this. If it is approaching this, so it shall favor inversion in configuration. So mean it shall follow Walden inversion, or What we shall say, this shall follow SN2 mechanism. This is very simple. If this X is leaving from this side, nucleophile shall approach opposite from this X group. Likewise, so it is called Walden inversion. So it shall follow SN2 mechanism. Now focus on this because this is a tight ion pair or intimate ion pair. In this case, they are carbocation and carbanion are very close to each other. If they are very close, means there is no solvent molecule, so nucleophile cannot also approach. If nucleophile is able to approach from this side where X is present, so it shall cause a retention in configuration. But because these are very same distance they are present as they are forming likewise. So solvents are not present in between. So it shall also undergo only opposite side nucleophile shall approach, resulting in Walden inversion. So it shall also undergo SN2 mechanism. But now look at this number 2. This is a solvent separated ion pair. Now, when they are separated by solvent, so there are chances nucleophile shell could also be approached from this direction. Nucleophile can be approaching from opposite direction. So two possibilities. So here we shall get inversion as well as retention. If it is approaching from this side, it shall cause a Walden inversion. If it is approaching from this side, it shall cause retention in configuration. So both inversion and retention shall be observed if nucleophile is approaching this entity. Now look at here. If it is approaching this one, X is separate and YR is separate. So this carbocation is separate. So nucleophile can approach from above and behind, which shall result in racemization. So SN1 shall be observed in this case. So in these three concepts, just forget the first, you have already covered this before. If it is a secondary carbon can undergo SN2, very simple reaction. We are not talking about that. We are talking about the outcomes of first, second, and third. Intimate ion pair, solvent separated ion pair, and dissociated ion pair. If it is this ion, it shall follow a SN2 mechanism. If it is this one, it shall follow SN1 as well as SN2. So it means inversion as well as retention it shall follow. It shall follow racemization. You see, in all three ion pairs are giving you three different mechanisms. This tight ion pair or intimate ion pair is giving you only SN2 possible. This mechanism, third one, is only racemization is possible. In this case, it is both. It is SN2 as well as SN1. SN1 shall cause inversion, retention both, mean racemization. SN2 shall give you only inversion. So both are possible. So this is the mixed type in this case. So this is the concept which the Sanin basically presented, why we get a mixed product. Like in previous case, we get a mixed product here. Why we are getting? Because this is been proceeding via this mechanism. It causes inversion, it causes retention, it causes racemization, all three possibilities. All right. So I hope this is clear to all of you. So we are proceeding further towards another kind of the mechanism, which is called SN2 prime mechanism, or let's say we shall not be able to cover these all SN2 prime, SN1 prime, and SNI prime today. So better I focus on this. I shall limit this lecture to this one, Sanin's concept. So we shall start with the, because the structures of substrate shall change in next three mechanisms. So Sanin's mechanism is basically clarity. The question rises in the mind of the students that why SN1 and SN2 both are followed for a secondary carbon, why they are competing with each other. Reason is, if it is a secondary carbon, this is the justification given by Sanin, because according to him, we normally write this substrate directly going to this one. According to Sanin, it directly doesn't undergo this one. It first generates intimate ion pair, it then generates solvent separated ion pair, and finally it undergoes into this one that we commonly write. If it is present this form nucleophile approach, it shall always cause inversion in configuration, which we normally call Walden inversion following SN2 mechanism. If nucleophile is approaching likewise, to this type of dissociated ion. So in that case, it shall cause racemization, mean following SN1 mechanism 100%. But you see here there is a possibility. This is a solvent separated mechanism. So it may be undergoing following a inversion and retention both. Now here, one thing is very important. Just look at the concept we have already made, polarity of solvent. If we are doing in low polar solvent, then the percentage of these ions shall be small. Just focus my concept. Focus the condition. If the polarity of solvent is low, then definitely the ionization of this RX bond shall be poor. If it is poor, it shall not form to high concentration intimate ion pair. We shall not convert into solvent separated. We shall not convert into dissociated ion. So this substrate shall be much preferentially present in this state. So it shall only undergo SN2 mechanism. So if it undergo to small concentration, this one, it shall again following SN2, but here a small SN1 and here 100% SN1 is possible. Because the concentration of dissociated ion pair, solvent separated and intimate ion pair is low when the polarity is less. So mostly it is present in this form. This is the reason why if the reaction is proceeded, secondary carbon proceeding in low polar solvent, it always undergo SN2 dominating, but SN1 is recessive. This is the reason. Second, if it is polarity is high, just previous example if you look at here, low polar solvent, high polar solvent. Water is a solvent here. Here water is 25%, 75% dioxin. So this is a difference. I have already exemplified. So if we are doing this reaction with a tertiary substrate, then what shall happen? We are doing this reaction in a high polarity solvent like in water, methanol, acetonitrile, etc. If we are doing in high polarity solvent, then the ionization of these ions shall be favored. If it is favored, so these ions are in high concentration. So if they are in high concentration, then SN1 is dominating, right? Nucleophile shall prefer, nucleophile can add here, nucleophile can add here. So if it is following SN1 mechanism, why SN2 is also product form? Because tight ion pair or solvent separated ion pairs are also present which undergo SN2 mechanism. So this is how when polarity of solvent is high, these ions shall be formed in high concentration. So inversion shall be recessive and ionization shall be dominating. As a result, SN1 dominates. So I hope this should be clear to all of you. So the session is open. If